I wanna ride with you. Always something special to remember. Every time we take a journey.
I'm Veronica, Imaginovator and host, and welcome to the Shaboo Prince Artist Studio, where we'll play hard and embark on your new Odyssey.
It's an inward journey of discovery using your enlivened sense of wonder. Each episode will offer you surprising experiences for deeper imagination and creativity to occur. This is your safe playground where you will discover and liberate your creative originality. Come on in and let's ride.
I wanna ride with you.
Hiya, it's Veronica, your host, and this is your new Odyssey. And welcome to the Shaboo Artist Studio. This is our safe zone. For the next half hour, it's just you and me to explore your imagination, to expand your imagination, to consider your creativity with no eyes on us, just you and me in this safe zone, no judgment. And how often do you get that? So I'm glad you're here. Yeah, and last episode we talked about your what's next and how do you feel about what's ahead in your what's next and the power of our perspective on that. Well, you know, in order to get to what's next or what's ahead, there's something that we call the in-between times between where you're at now and there. And one of the best ways to navigate the challenges of the in-between times is with your imagination and creativity.
Hiya, I'm your assistant, Imaginovator Veronica, and I will help you get the most out of your new Odyssey, a program unlike anything you've ever seen before. Each episode is a grab bag of various creativity experiences and activities that will get you thinking in new ways and increase your curiosity for your imagination and creative self-expression. All you have to do is sit back, have an open mind, and watch. And I guarantee you will get something good for yourself out of the next half hour.
Yeah, so in between times is something that's worth looking at and considering. It's where you want to go, right? You're here right now and your destiny is there, who you want to be or where you want to go. There's an in-between phase. And the thing is, if you depend on your mind too much during the in-between phase, it'll alarm. It'll start to say, danger, danger, we're in unfamiliar territory, turn around. It's the police officer. And so the way to navigate successfully the in-between times, the way to get to your destiny, to your potential, is through the heart. And what better way to activate the heart but to stay imaginative and creative? So the more you come here and spend a half hour with me in your new Odyssey, the more you are guaranteeing opening your heart and traveling that way. Your heart is what actually creates your stability during the in-between times. It creates your North Star. It helps you envision yourself on the other side of the hump. You kind of just have your direction as long as you're in your heart doing what you love, being imaginative and creative during these challenging times of transition, you finally get there. But it takes heart more than mind. Isn't that interesting? And so that's why your imagination and creativity are, again, so practical on designing your future, on creating your what's next, on helping you navigate the in-between times so that you can get to your potential, your destiny, and who you know you really should be. I'm so excited for the journey. Let's see what else we have to say this week. I think the curly-haired girl has a word or two.
In-between times can feel confusing, and that's why it's best experienced with the heart. The mind needs certainty and asks questions like, where am I? What am I doing? And where am I going? Your heart intelligence understands the unknown better, so use it more. Here are some other tips. Don't panic. In between times is the baking time of something new, so let the process happen with as little interference as possible. And you can do that by spending more time doing something you love. It will quiet the mind and open your heart. Ask your heart, am I okay right now? You'll likely hear it faintly respond, yes. Activate your inner GPS. Make something. The joy of it will keep you pointed in the right direction. Activate your courage. Face your discomforts and choose to keep moving towards your goal. Activate inner clarity. Reduce confusion by creating something and keeping your heart open. Choose your people. Keep people around you who are positive and helpful. Stay inspired. Refer to people and animals that inspire you. It will help remind you of where you want to go and who you want to be. Lean on your emotional intelligence. Acknowledge your emotions. Don't let them get stuck and keep them moving through you. Look for relationships because coincidences and connections are unspoken forms of support. Let's practice opening your heart intelligence now with an introspective question. Let's now awaken your heart with an introspective question. Notice any resistance you may feel or messages from the mind that may keep you from your deeper knowing. Let your heart respond. Your heart never lies.
So yeah, the in-between times happens when you move from here to someplace else. And you can't get to someplace else without being in the in-between times. And the best way to navigate the in-between times is with your heart, not your mind. Because your mind will be uncomfortable with going outside of what's familiar. It's not comfortable with change. Adults aren't very comfortable with change. As a matter of fact, adults are very wary of the unknown. And perhaps that's from experience. But I'm telling you, the more you live through your heart, using your imagination and creativity, the more you are less afraid of the unknown or a void or a white field. Because you start to realize there's more potential in it. It's actually a space to explore your self-expression and your creativity. It's actually a sense of freedom when you come into a void or a space or a blank page. There's a lot of adults that are very uncomfortable with a blank card. They need the sentiment written for them. So entering and exercising in the void, in a blank field, is a really positive thing. It helps strengthen your imagination. So I think this is a good time for our exercise called the Blank Page Tour. And now this exercise, I must say, is one of our, I think, most challenging because I remove all familiar visuals. You know, a funny thing happens with adults is that we become very wary of the unknown. Perhaps it's from experience where we are uncomfortable if we don't know what's happening, and so then we judge it as being potential negative. But the more you use your imagination and creativity, the more you start to perceive the unknown as possibility. And so be mindful if your mind alarms and says, this is silly, what is this for, this is ridiculous. That means you're going outside of conventionality, and that's a good thing. And get comfortable with being in front of a void in a space and seeing what your imagination can do and trigger your imagination. So be really aware of how your heart speaks and your heart desires. Your heart is the one that will say, let's explore this. There's something in here. There's magic to be found. So if you're ready, let's explore a white field. Come and take a look at this blank page. Come and take a close look at this field.
Most adults only skim the surface of their imagination and creativity, like snorkelers, but your creative genius lies deeper. That's why you'll need tools like kaleidoscope journeys, curly-haired Tao, and this blank page tour. They will help you dive more deeply into your far-out imagination. Deep imaginovation requires going away from conventionality, where most people remain. It takes a bit more courage, and that's why I'm here, to make you feel secure enough to explore the fantastic unknown, accessible through your super imagination. It's at this deep level your creative, original self waits to talk with you. This is about freeing yourself from conventionality, which is everywhere and very subtle. It can even hide in pencil and paper. And that's why we will draw with nothing but your heart. I will now cue some inspirational music. Let the music help you float up and into this other dimension where there is no time, no pressure, no heaviness. Be comfortable in this blank space and let what exists here begin to stir. I will now shuffle various shapes and lines and randomly select one for this blank page tour. Ah, yes, this one is very good. Imagine this shape to create anything you want. For example, you can orientate this upside down or clockwise. You can multiply it or change its size as much as you want. You can use it to create pictures or designs or patterns, anything you want. Hold this shape in your imagination because I will now remove it. For the next minute, play with the shape in your imagination. Creatively use it as much as you can on this blank field. Joining us on these blank page tours keeps you in discovery mode and lessens feelings of doubt and insecurity. Not to mention that they supercharge your imagination and creativity. Let's look at your current creativity level based on this experience and what that may mean for you. If your imagination uses the shape 1 to 10 times, you are creative. That means you know you are meant for more and why you may feel stuck in a current situation. You struggle with self-doubt and don't share some of your best ideas because your mind is a very good enforcer of conventionality. Here is some of the creative growth that is ahead for you. Tapping into your creative genius to do more of what you love and do it best. Spending more time in environments that offer you bigger opportunities. Finding a community that agrees you have untapped potential. Here are a few benefits to look forward to if you use more imagination and creativity in your life. Becoming more confident. Improving as a brilliant idea generator. Receiving much more joy and far less stress. And repairing your sense of destiny. If your imagination used the shape 11 to 24 times, you are very creative. You are ready to expand into the unknowns of more abundance and success, but struggle with waves of imposter syndrome and the drag of not always feeling like you belong. You aren't stuck but feel antsy. You are creatively brilliant but don't always see how it applies. You seek a new community that can help take you to the next level. Here is some of the creative growth that is ahead for you. Building the trust you have for your creative genius. Discovering ways to apply your ideas. Getting accustomed to a higher public profile. And considering your leadership potential. Here are just a few benefits to look forward to if you use more imagination and creativity in your life. Seeing more opportunities. Being more courageous. Valuing your creative originality. Feeling that your destiny is closer than ever before. All of which will increase your energy and joy. If your imagination used the shape 25 or more times, you are a star Imaginovator. You are very independent. You are a leader who makes a difference. You oftentimes feel misunderstood. You seek to work only in the creative flow and live in discovery mode. But you have pressure between creative flow and conventionality. Here is some of the creative growth that is ahead for you. Delegating and team building. Creating optimal home and work environments. Community leadership. Teaching. Better time management. Finding new ways to use your signature talent. Star Imaginovators can always use more imagination and creativity, and here's why. You need more relaxation and more aha moments. You will grow as an influencer. You will experience greater fulfillment and touch your destiny. And you will have more energy and drive. Do you want to know what I see in a blank page? I see a portal to an otherworldly place where I can see new pathways and have new ideas. Here's what my imagination created with this shape. I love diving into the vastness of imagination where my creative originality is, and where ideas like the iPhone, Uber, and the everlasting gobstopper come from. Let's get a pearl of serendipity from Imaginator Veronica's collection.
So I hope you're getting the idea that the in-between times are a chance to get you to where you want to go. And it's simply finding the tools you need to navigate the in-between times, because turning around and going back to who you were shouldn't be an option anymore. But it does require your heart and opening your imagination and creativity more to navigate the in-between times. And so a lot of the exercises we do here help you do that. They expand, they open your heart, they quiet the mind. That's key. So that you can explore your imagination. And the more you explore your imagination, the more creative you become. And I'm telling you, the more that you do these exercises and keep coming back here with me for your half hour in your new Odyssey, the more you'll expand as a creative person. The more you will start to see everything around you, but really see. See not only with your eyes, but with your heart. And when you start to see your world more with your heart, you're simply being more creative. And you'll discover that there are worlds in everything. For instance, if you stare at a book long enough, you'll start to question, like, who wrote it and what kind of font is that and where'd they get the paper and who did the binding? And everything starts to become its own world. You start to see more. And when you start to see more as a creative, imaginative person, you start to know more. And so the world gets bigger. Those are the benefits of becoming more imaginative and creative. You know, the other thing that I enjoy about my creativity is the more I become more creative, it's like the more chances I see, the more coincidences I see, things working together to my benefit, the more serendipity, which is something seemingly happened by coincidence for your favor. Seemingly. So I thought it would be a good time for us to have an experiment and see if we can create a moment of serendipity. You know, when I look around and I start looking at the world with my heart, I start noticing truths. Things start to boil down into their core essence, and I start to see the truth of things. And so I started writing them down on little pieces of paper, and I have a collection of them right here. And I started thinking, wow, these are like real honest core truths. I started calling them pearls of wisdom. And when I shared them with my family and friends, they would respond, yeah, isn't that the truth? So I've collected a bunch of them here on pieces of paper that we can use for our moment of serendipity. And what I'm going to ask is for you to use your imagination to come with me here into the Shaboo Artist Studio and guide my hand to help select a pearl of wisdom that will contain a message that will benefit you, something that you need to hear right now, as an example of serendipity by just living a more creative and imaginative life with willingness. What do you think about that? I think that would be good. So let's first be willing and begin the transformation into our willingness to be together in the Shaboo Artist Studio by simply relaxing. So wherever you're at, just relax, soften your muscles. Where are your feet right now? Are they square on the ground? That's best. Do you feel the points of contact your body has with the chair you're sitting in? That kind of mindfulness starts to shift you, doesn't it? I feel it. And now let's support that shift and change into the who knows what's next by taking a nice deep breath in, holding it at the top, and then exhaling out nice and long. So I think we're ready. I'd like you to imagine yourself joining me here in the Shaboo Artist Studio. I'm now going to also ask the spirit of the Shaboo Artist Studio to join us and help guide my hand to select a pearl of wisdom that will contain a message that you need to hear right now. And I'm going to go in here until I feel something warm. Guide my hand. I feel something here. Here's our pearl of wisdom. Put the bowl down. So our experiment of serendipity is insects can serve as great teachers, representing human concepts such as luck and patience and endurance. Isn't that the truth? Insects can be teachers. This is a message for us to look and notice our world. Everything, when you become more imaginative and creative, like you are being by coming here with me in your new Odyssey, helps you see the world more. And when you see the world more, there's more magic in everything, even insects. This is the power of Pixar to see the value of everything and then bring it to life. And this is in your world. So the next time, look, I mean really look, if you get an opportunity to go outside and see an insect, a butterfly, an ant, a snail, and really, really look at it and its ability to successfully exist in the context it's in. It has something to teach you. It's magical that it exists in that state right there and then, showing you something. But it requires your heart intelligence. It requires your imagination and creativity. And if you really fall into your imagination and creativity, you can allow that insect to speak with you, to share something with you that you didn't know. Isn't that something? But that's the kind of magic that's in the world around us. Insects can serve as great teachers, representing human concepts such as luck, patience, endurance. That's just an insect. Now expand your vision out, further out into the world, and realize that everything can offer concepts such as luck, serendipity, patience, endurance. This is the kind of awareness you gain when you start to open your heart, use your imagination, and live as a more creative being. How exciting is that? So can you see now how exciting it is for your what's next, for what's ahead, and all the possibilities in the day? I am. So keep coming back here to your new Odyssey, where we'll keep expanding this vision in your perspective and your knowing, because the more you see, the more you know, with fun games and experiences, all through play and joy. Isn't that something? But until then, don't forget to live big and play hard.
For program resources and more, visit shabooprints.com.